So take a few moments as you welcome yourself into this sadhana practice. And you're welcome to begin in an upright seated posture, or you're welcome to also lie down in a supported posture on your back if you like. So just take a few moments to begin in a place that would best serve you. Close your eyes down if you're comfortable. Bring your gaze inward. Just take a few moments to arrive into this space, sensing the framework of your body, held and supported in the room that you're in. Sensing your relationship to the space. Perhaps using your breath to continue to move in. That awareness of breath can give you some sensation about your posture, noticing how you're holding yourself energetically within that framework of your body. Noticing areas that might be holding tension, or areas that are already feeling open and ready. And from this space, you might invite in a fuller, deeper breath. But just listen to what you feel will support you best in this time of arriving in, checking in, grounding into this practice. I'm going to share a bit of a meditation as a way to open ourselves into this practice and this theme. Just let yourself continue to settle in, to arrive, allowing your heart to be open to this experience, to receiving. We are all equal. As we practice as equals. We practice in devotion, each of us accessing guidance from the highest seat within the self, discerning our inner experience, free from attachment, free from judgments of ourselves and of others. Know that nothing needs proving. As we practice, we do so in trust. We do so in love and with humility. We practice as fellows with respect for each other's individual journey and ability to bring light from dark, to transform the mundane into magic. Each of us is an alchemist, a warrior, a magician, a teacher, and a student of life. We are a Sangha, a community devoted to truth, beauty, and all that nourishes spirit, as spirit is all-encompassing. All that we do, all that is part of spirit. We know that energy cannot be created or destroyed. Know that which you are, and let it guide you. We need not strive, we simply are energy, and energy or spirit is us. So invite yourself in this practice to surrender the personal mind and its limited values attached to the finite, as nothing is fixed. Energy cannot be destroyed. So move into this experience with freedom and the immense power that knowing yourself yields. That you are your best teacher. That I cannot tell you what is right for you. As we practice, take what serves you, and leave the rest. We practice as equals. So let's begin and let's be open and play and just have fun. Move for the sake of moving. So if you're still in a supported upright position, you can return to your natural breath and just take a moment to bring yourself onto your back. And once you arrive down onto your back, just draw your knees in toward your chest. Let the back of your skull rest heavy and supported. And you might just rock the knees side to side or invite some circles. Or play with hugging the knees in and pressing them away into the hands and maybe creating a little bit of a rocking on the spine. Again, move in a way that serves you. Know that you are your best teacher. And maybe from here we move into happy baby pose if you feel like following along with me. Grabbing the outsides of the feet, anchoring the hips down, opening the knees along the ribs. And maybe you just play with extending one leg and then the other. Just a way to loosen, to open the body for practice. Nice deep breaths wherever you are. And if you're in that happy baby, practice hugging the scapula in toward the spine, pressing down through the tailbone so your spine's in its natural curves. So there's a sense of hugging in around the shape you're in, supporting it. And maybe we just bring our limbs up toward the sky, rolling out our ankles, our wrists, swimming the limbs in any way. That helps to lubricate in those joints of the elbows, the sockets of the shoulders, hips, knees. Maybe getting into the fingers and the toes as you play. Perhaps listening to those snap, crackles, and pops of your inner body. And then we might take a moment to open our arms out in a nice wide wingspan. Plant the feet back down to the mat. You might just gently windshield wiper the feet right to left. Maybe the head looks in the opposite direction of the knees. Still sensing the head nice and weighted. And maybe on your next inhale, let the knees move back toward the sky. Draw the knees in toward your chest and then bring the soles of your feet together. Reach your arms around to wrap the pinky edge side of your feet as you press the soles of your feet in. Reach your heels down toward your pubic bone. And then as you do that, you're gonna think about pressing your knees open away from your body as you use your feet to press into your palms to lift your chest, lift your head. Maybe drawing the chin toward the notch of the throat and letting the chin tuck slightly. And then you're thinking about pressing that lumbar curve down into the mat here, hollowing the belly. And like your own little hammock, you can rock a little bit side to side. Maybe using this as a way to stretch out the wrist, to move into your hips. Maybe just drawing another nice deep breath in here. And as we exhale, lowering the torso back down, maybe reaching the toes up and overhead, and beginning a little rock from the scapula toward the hips. Nice C curve in your spine, or if that doesn't serve you today, just roll to one side to slowly bring yourself up to an upright seated posture, and we'll just swing the legs around to come to all fours, bringing ourselves to a tabletop. Spreading your palms nice and wide, knees underneath your hips, and just Take some moments here, some movements to waken up the spine. So you might play with some cat-cows, lifting your head and tail. You might circle the head, the hips around, like you're sort of tumbling the torso. You might find some circles in the hips. Just move intuitively. Trust what comes. Knowing that if it's serving you, it is right. And then maybe from this place, we'll tuck our toes and start to lift the hips back and up toward the sky. And you might just pedal through the feet nice and gently, kind of starting to wake up your ankles, wake up your calves. Maybe nodding your head yes or no. Using your palms to really press down into the mat. Have a slight bend in those elbows so the outer arms are sort of hugging in. The thigh bones are reaching back and up toward the sky. Again, you might be guided to find some stillness or little micro movements. Just trust what comes, what's right for you. If you like, from here, we're going to lift our heels, tuck our tailbone, roll through our spine, moving in toward a plank position. And just holding plank, sensing the scapula hug in toward the heart, the elbows slightly bend, the navel center lift. We might shift over to the right side to sweep the left arm up in that side plank. You can always lower the right knee down if you like. And sense equality through the scapula here. Press down as much as you're reaching up. And then from here, take those top fingers, reach them in a curve up and over toward the top of your mat and all the way back down to the mat as you bring your heart back to face the mat, back into your plank. And then we'll just shift to the other side, so grounding into that left side, letting the right fingertips reach up toward the sky. Nice deep breaths here supporting you. Notice where you're pushing down into the earth. And as you push down, noticing that reciprocity of energy moving back up through the body, helping you lift, become lighter. And allowing those fingertips to reach up and overhead. And tracing back down toward the mat, into your plank. And then from here, we'll slowly lower all the way down, elbows hugging the ribs. And then from here, you can bring the palms down by your hips, pressing into the pelvis as you just roll the arm bones back, lift the chest, maybe lifting the gaze, or eyes can be closed. Just take a couple nice deep breaths here. If you like, you can also lift the thighs, lift the legs as you really root down into the pelvis. You can also try binds with your hands if you want to open into those shoulders a little bit more. Listen to your body. Let it guide you. And taking another breath in, and as we exhale, just letting the heart melt down toward the mat for a moment. Then we're going to ground into our left palm, sort of at the corner of our mat, maybe slightly extended on that diagonal. Just thread your right arm underneath so that you can roll down onto your right cheek and temple, sort of folding your chest over that right arm. And just see if you can take a few moments to let go here. Just letting the weight of your body help to stretch the back of your arm. Sensing your belly expand into the earth as you inhale. And sensing yourself sink deeper in as you exhale. Then pressing down into that left palm to unthread your right, extending the right arm out on that diagonal so you have room to slide the left arm underneath, and again letting the left cheek and temple rest down onto the mat. And just take some nice deep breaths. Sensing the body rise away from the earth and sink back to meet the earth. Maybe moving closer each time you exhale. And then from here, pressing into that right palm to unthread the left, bringing your fingertips so that they're slightly back of your shoulders, elbows are hugging in, full palms are rooting down, rolling the arm bones back. Press into the pelvis as we inhale, lift our chest, and then press into the knees, lift your hips, and then we'll tuck our toes and glide those hips back into that down dog. You might ground for a moment into your left foot as you float the right leg up behind you. Maybe moving the thigh bone around inside the socket or just reaching it nice and long. Working towards squaring off the shoulders. Finding nice deep breaths wherever you are. Maybe on your next exhale, you step that right foot between the hands. You can choose to lower that left knee or keep it lifted. Ground into your left palm and then inhale as we spiral the right fingertips up. Trying not to lose length of your spine as you rotate around that axis. Drawing that right hip back as the left hip moves forward slightly to square those hips. Reaching through that back heel. Take another breath here. And as we exhale, untwisting, bringing that right hand to the instep of your right foot, extending your legs, rooting that left heel down toward the mat. And just allow your torso to linger a moment over to that right side, letting the head just bow down for a moment. Maybe just kind of ring the head out like a bell. Shake it yes, nod it no. And then maybe you might have slight bends in the knees as you rotate your right toes toward that long edge of your mat, walking your hands through your center, and then walking them to that left side as you pivot your left toes to face that back edge, and then lifting up onto that ball mound of your right foot, lifting the right heel, grounding into the right palm to spiral the left fingertips up toward the sky, moving into that twisting lunge here on this side. If that back thigh is lifted, make sure to activate that thigh bone up toward the sky. Think about widening through the clavicles, drawing the shoulders away from the ears. Find another nice deep breath here. And on your next exhale, you can bring those hands back down to the instep of that left foot, and again, extend your legs, pivot the right heel down toward the mat so the pinky edge side of your foot is kind of parallel to the short edge of your mat, and allowing your torso to just hang out on that left side for a moment. Allowing the heart to slightly rotate up toward the sky away from your legs as the head just relaxes. And then maybe a slight bend in the knees as you pivot both toes to face the wide edge of your mat. And then walking your hands out a little bit. Maybe just take a cat-cow here as you inhale, let the belly lower and stretch toward the earth. Exhale, push into the feet, into the palms as you tuck your tail and head. Maybe just try that a few times. And coming back to a nice neutral spine. Keep walking the hands out a little bit more, so as you shift your weight forward toward a plank, your shoulders line up right over your wrists. And then you might try that side plank from this wide-legged base. So grounding into your right side, try to swivel your heels to the right as you lift the left fingers up toward the sky. And just notice those sensations. Notice if it serves you or not. Try to keep those hips lifted. Take a nice deep breath in. And a nice full breath out. And then on your next breath in, maybe push down, reach up a little bit more. And then finding that top hand back down. Maybe switching sides for a moment. Letting the heels navigate their way down toward the left side, right arm reaches. Noticing if that left shoulder is sagging in toward the ear. Really try to press down into that left palm. Good. Deep breaths. And then allowing that right hand to find its way back to the mat, lifting the heels, and then sending the hips back, the head down toward a variation of your down dog here. And slowly, slowly, maybe your knees bend slightly, walking those hands in closer toward your feet. You might just take a moment to let your head hang heavy. Maybe take your hands on the back of your skull and support an opening of the neck. And then from here, we're going to bring our hands back to the earth. Pivot your heels to face inside of your toes. And then we're going to bend our knees so they're tracking in line with the second and third toe. Root the tailbone down and slowly, slowly let our torso lift up. We're going to inhale as we extend the legs and the arms up and overhead. And as we exhale, we're going to move down into that goddess pose. So knees bend, elbows might bend. And just find some nice deep breaths, letting your arms express themselves any way they wish. Maybe you want to play with just being nice and steady and still. Maybe you feel inspired to move a little bit in the torso, the head, and the arms. Again, trust what comes. Just keep breathing wherever you are. Smile. Maybe allowing the pelvis to root down just a little bit more, bending just a bit deeper, if that serves you. And then from here, we're going to let our torso move down toward the earth. Hands can connect. You can pivot those heels back out and start to walk our hands toward that front edge of our mat over toward the right toes. You can pivot the right toes back to the front edge of your mat, lifting the back left heel and then stepping your way back into a plank. Take a deep breath in. As we exhale, moving yourself down toward the earth. And then from here, we're going to stack our forearms. You might play slightly with how they stack. You might have your palms stacked or your forearms. But we're just going to take a moment to ground into the pelvis. And then we're going to bend into that right knee. And then you're going to take your right hand for your right foot or your ankle. And then just try to draw that heel in toward the buttock. You might be able to press down into the pelvis and lift your right thigh. You might allow the torso to remain lifted, or you might just lower your forehead down onto your forearm. Take another deep breath in. And as you exhale, releasing that leg down. And just switching sides, so bending into that left knee, reaching back with your left hand, drawing the heel in toward the buttocks, trying to sense the shoulders pressing away from the ears. Sense either the heart lifting or the head bowing. The back thigh may lift. And trust wherever you are. Remember, you're an alchemist. You can take any moment, any event, and make it what you wish. Take another deep breath in. And when we're ready to release, just lower that left thigh and bring your hands back out. Bring them underneath you, maybe rolling the shoulders back, elbows hug in, maybe taking an upward dog for a moment, if that serves you, and then on your next exhale, moving back into your downward facing dog. And just find yourself settling for a couple deep breaths. If you need a moment of rest, you can always choose to lower the knees, send the hips back toward the heels. Take a rest in a child's pose. If you feel like holding a pose for some time isn't what serves you at this moment and you need to kind of move through things, you can find some planks and chaturangas, whatever you wish. Trust what your body tells you. And wherever you are, maybe take a few moments, but we're going to step into our right foot to just explore that left leg stretching back into space behind us. And you might, again, roll out the ankle. You might play with moving the thigh bone around inside that hip socket. Or again, just reaching it energetically away and up toward the sky. Working toward squaring the shoulders. Notice where you're supported, where you're in contact with the earth, and really root down into those places. And keep breathing, and then maybe on your next exhale, we're going to step that left leg through the palms into a lunge. And then squaring the hips, scissoring the inner thighs. When you feel nice and stable, bring yourself up. We can inhale the arms all the way up toward the sky. If you like, you can settle here, or you might play with taking your left arm toward the outside of your right thigh. Letting the pelvis sink down, the tailbone root, the front edge of the hips gather in and up, the heart lifting, and then over time, maybe moving the heart up and back into a back bend, a heart opener. Feeling some heat. Feeling those earth-like, denser parts of your body rooted, but also finding the breath, that levity. And on your next inhale, let that lift the heart even more and let it open the arms into a wide wingspan as we pivot the right heel down. Maybe take a moment to just extend gently that left thigh or left leg. If you need a break for that thigh. And then you can relax your arms for a moment. And then we're going to move into a side angle or a variation. You can go into a bind here as well. So we're going to bend back into that left knee. And you can start with palms in prayer if you like, and just tilt the torso down, maybe where that left elbow meets the left thigh, slowly toward the inside. You might extend that left arm down toward the floor if it reaches, or you might even try going into a bind, wrapping left arm underneath that left thigh, letting the right arm fall behind the back of the body into that bind. Really sensing the pinky edge side of that extended leg, rooting the heart, rotating up. Deep breaths. You might look up or down, whatever serves you. You might play also with extending that left leg while in a bind, if you're in that bind. And then from here, we're going to bend into that left knee and then bend into that right leg as well. And then you're going to step that right foot. You might have to kind of shift your weight a little bit, right to left, and then try to step that right foot in. So it lands about hip width, and it might take more than one step. And then stay in that bind perhaps as you slowly bring yourself all the way up to a standing position. Holding onto that leg in that bird of paradise, you might work toward extending your leg. Keep rolling the shoulders back, opening the heart space. Take your time. If we fall out of it, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Good. Finding your breath, finding your poise. And then from this place, we will let go of the leg, step the left foot toward that back edge of your mat or the front edge, it doesn't matter, and then just square your hips toward that short edge of your mat. And then we're going to reach back for that right foot as we bend that right leg. Moving into your version of your dancing Shiva. So the left arm may lift. You might kind of externally rotate the arm to grip the thumb across the sole, the fingers over the top of the foot. You might press the foot into the hand as you extend, and you might keep working your way into any version that is your own. Keep breathing. And we're going to have fun with this next sequence. So maybe take another breath or two wherever you are. Keep finding that oppositional energy. Moving in, hugging in to expand out. Pushing down to lift up. And maybe on your next exhale, we gently release that leg. Draw that right knee in toward the chest. Now, only if you think this might be of service to you. If not, you can find your way down onto your butt anyway, that would. But if you want to play, I'm just going to move back for a moment. You can play with extending that leg out. You might even hold onto the toes as you lower down onto your butt. And then from this place, maybe we grab hold of the calf or the ankle and try to draw that right leg in toward our nose, our forehead. Try to move those shoulders back, lengthen through the spine. Maybe you bow your head toward your knee. And then we might play with taking hold of the right foot with our left hand, so the palm meets the sole, and then pushing that foot into the left hand as we spiral our torso over to the right. Lift the heart, move the shoulders back and down. Take another breath. And as we exhale, we can release the leg, let it slowly move down toward the mat. Put your right palm down alongside you on the ground and just shift your weight to the right side. So you can move that left knee down toward the mat and your heel to the outside of your hip. Now you might have to adjust for your body exactly that relationship between the heel and the hip. And then you might just stay here. You might lower onto your elbows or one elbow, or you might roll all the way down onto your back. And just take a few moments of letting the body be heavy, surrendering to the sensations present inside. And you might take that right arm up and overhead so it kind of lands right next to your right ear. And then you might just kind of roll yourself over to that right side, letting the left hand land in front of your chest. And then stacking your legs, bringing your ankles to stack on top of each other. And then from that point, you might press down into your left hand and just lift the torso. Maybe turn your gaze over your left shoulder. Just sensing a stretch from your right hip all the way through the right rib cage, the torso. And then we're going to take that left knee, bend it, and let it come up toward your heart. And then recline back down and move your left scapula down toward the mat so you're in a reclined twist. Maybe you look over your left shoulder as you breathe nice and deep. And are there areas where your body's in contact with the earth that can just let go a little bit more and just yield into the earth? Maybe that means you have to make a little bit of micro movements, a little bit of shifts so you can settle in, breathe deep. Maybe just drawing another nice full deep breath in. As you exhale, rolling back to that right side. We're going to bring that left palm down in front of the chest once more. Shifting so you're slightly to the front of your trochanter. And you're going to lift your legs. So extend your legs and stack your ankles and then lift your legs. And you might also play with lifting your torso slightly. Maybe bringing both arms up and overhead like you're taking a little side boat here. Letting some heat build once more in the body. Sensing yourself stable or unstable. Maybe you're on a choppy water. Take a nice deep breath in, and then as you exhale, let it dissolve. Roll onto your back, draw your knees in, let the head be heavy into the earth. Maybe just take a little bit of a rock with those knees side to side. Do what serves you. And from this place, we're going to reach our toes up toward the sky. And you might just stay here. You might start to work those toes back and overhead toward a plow. Or play with moving into a shoulder stand. And maybe just letting all the tension, all the work of the day move from the feet down to the back of the heart, letting it move into the earth, letting the earth recycle it. Letting yourself listen, letting yourself respect your body's needs. Breathe wherever you are. If you're in that full shoulder stand, you might even play with flipping the palms if they're on your back so your thumbs line up to meet kind of along the spine. Your fingers wrap around the waist, and you might play with reaching one toe over toward your head while the other one reaches down for the mat until it finds its way all the way planted on the ground. And then allowing the other toe that was overhead to come back to the floor. And you might play with kicking back over into that plow or shoulder stand from that place, switching sides, just having fun, letting yourself be playful, be curious. Letting yourself be supported where you need to be supported. Move in a way that is of service to you. Leaving the rest. And if you're still in that inversion, maybe taking another breath or two and then gently just moving your way down onto your back. You might, from your back, either roll to one side to bring yourself upright or rock and roll on your spine a little bit. Once you rock and roll on your spine to an upright position, maybe bring your hands in front of you, pour weight into them as you step or hop those feet back into your plank. Take a deep breath in. As we exhale, you can move down toward the earth. Inhale as you lift your heart into your cobra. Exhale, moving back into that downward dog or child's pose if you like. Just settling for 3 deep breaths. Maybe you find yourself in a place that you've been before, discover it new for what it is in this moment. And when we sense readiness, we're going to step our right foot between those hands, coming into a lunge with the right foot forward, the left leg long, squaring those hips, rooting down, sensing that stable base before lifting the torso up. And then from this place, we might allow the heart and the shoulders to remain square. You might play with reaching your right arm towards the outside of your left thigh. And then gradually over time, lifting the heart and moving it into a back bend, wherever your body is ready to go. Nice deep breaths. And maybe our next inhale, let that lift us up. Let the arms open out into a nice wide wing. Rotate that left heel down toward the mat so you're in that Virabhadrasana 2 base. And then we'll extend into that right leg for a moment. Let the arms just take a breather, take a break. And then let's move into that side angle. You can try the bind on this side if you like. Bending into that right knee. You might move your right elbow to the right thigh. You might extend the right arm down all the way to the earth. You might try that bind as the left arm falls behind the back body. The right arm threads underneath the right thigh. We roll the shoulders back. We work toward moving the top of our head toward the top of our mat in that direction. And once in that bind once more, feel free to be playful with maybe trying to extend that right leg, but continue to lengthen through the spine, reaching the crown away from the hips. And when we feel ready, have a little bend in both legs. Maybe rock your weight a little bit between your right and left side, and get ready to step that left foot in to meet the right, about hip width distance. Slowly in time, shifting weight towards that left foot. Trying, if you like, to stay in that bind to bring yourself into that vertical upright place in that bird of paradise. Maybe if you did it really smoothly, you can just smile at that gloriousness. Maybe we surprised ourselves with the effortlessness that sometimes we find when we move into things that we think we can't do. And then all of a sudden we're like, wow, I'm here. And then when we feel ready, we'll lower the right leg down, square off the hips to the small edge of your mat, bend into the left foot, reach back for it to move into the dancing Shiva on this side. Again, taking any variation that works for you in your body in this moment in time. Continue to breathe through it to steady your gaze. Maybe just play with a breath or two more wherever you find yourself. And then letting that leg release, maybe drawing the knee in toward the chest. Letting the tailbone root down for a moment. You might take a seat in any way that's right for you. You might play with extending that left leg and then lowering yourself down. And then grabbing hold of the left foot and drawing the shin toward your nose. Maybe bowing the head toward your knee. Moving the shoulders back and down. And we'll take that left foot with your right hand and kicking the foot into the hand, extending the arm, letting the heel move down slightly as you bring your torso nice upright and tall as we twist to the left side. Taking another nice deep breath. Untwisting or moving your heart back to square toward the front, and then letting that left leg lower down nice and slow with control. And allowing your left hand to come to the side, rock your weight a little bit over to that trochanter side of your left leg so you can adjust your heel, move your knee down toward the mat. And again, this side might be a little different, so you might start just kind of leaning back into your palms. You might move down to one form, both, or spreading your spine down onto the mat like butter on warm toast melts, and let your body just melt. And breathe into this experience. And listen to your body. Let it guide you if it needs to make any little adjustments or shifts to better serve you in this shape. And sensing the back of the heart supported by the earth, the back of the skull heavy and held. And from this place, we might just take that left arm, bring it up and overhead alongside your ear so you can roll your body over to your left side and then slowly stack your ankles. Your right hand can move in front of your heart. Here is a little kickstand support. You might take a moment to just kind of lift your torso, look over your right shoulder, just take a stretch on that left side, maybe roll the shoulders back. Getting to be close to summer season. We can imagine ourselves as mermaids. Take a nice deep breath in. As we exhale, we're going to bend that right knee in toward the chest and then let it fall toward the earth as we roll our torso back down toward the earth and then let that right scapula move down. toward the ground into that reclined twist. Maybe your gaze looks over that right shoulder. And again, you might need to make little adjustments for your body. See if you can imagine breath like a spiral moving up from the base of the spine, swirling around each block of the vertebrae, working its way all the way up the top of the head and out. Maybe after the next time you fill up with a deep breath, as we exhale, you can just roll back over to that left side, gently stacking the legs once more, extending them, stacking the ankles, bringing your right hand in front of the heart. As a kickstand, you might just play with just lifting your legs, or also play with lifting the head slightly, maybe playing with moving into that side boat variation. Maybe the waters are a little more steady today, or maybe they're more choppy. I don't know. We'll see. See if you can find that lift as you push down, lift up. And when you're ready to let go, let it dissolve, let yourself roll back onto your spine, let your head just rest a moment, hug your knees in toward your chest, rock a little bit. You might play with going into that version of Supta Baddha Konasana, bringing the soles of the feet together, wrapping your hands around the pinky edge side, drawing the heels down toward the pelvis as you press the knees away, lifting the head, scooping the belly in nice and hollow as you use your feet to lengthen the arms. Make yourself into a little hammock. And then from here, on our backs, we can lower our head and our torso back down if we chose to lift them. You can play with just being on your back for a moment, grounding your feet into the earth, and just take a few moments to listen in. So maybe draw the knees in so you're in just a supported place. Listen to your body. Allowing the back to remain facing the earth, but maybe moving your way into a back bend of your choice when you feel ready, or perhaps you just stay in a constructive rest. You might play with Matsyasana, bridge, wheel. Go where your body is asking you to go. Closing your eyes and really listening in to what your body is saying it needs. Wherever you are, when you're ready to move out of that experience, maybe just rest on your back once more, either in constructive rest for a moment, or soles of the feet can draw together, knees can open away. in that reclined cobblers. Allowing your arms to express themselves wherever. Maybe taking this moment to remind yourself that or what you are. Reminding yourself that you are an alchemist, you are a warrior, a magician. That you have the ability to bring light from the darkness, to transform anything mundane into a magical experience. You are energy, and no energy is fixed or finite. You are indestructible. And gently from this place, you might choose to roll to one side or rock your way upright. Before we move into that Shavasana practice, that is our favorite, we're going to do one stretch before we get there, just to continue to open up our hips. So we're going to move into fire log pose, but if it's not one that you feel will serve you in this time, you can feel free to choose a different hip opener for your body. But you can start with the right foot. Kind of bring the knee in line with your hip and move the shin sort of parallel to the front edge of your mat, and take your left ankle and just bring it on top. And you want to flex both feet to support the knees. You might just rock a little bit to settle in equally to both sits bones as best as you can. Sometimes I like to thread my fingers between my toes if I can reach both of them. And just sit up nice and tall, and from this upright position you might just stay here and breathe and sense the fire building. You might be able to hinge the heart, hinge the torso forward, moving the heart down toward the earth. But just go slow, bringing the gaze in. Breathe deep. Just allowing yourself to pay attention to all that is, knowing that all that is an expression of spirit. Letting yourself be free in this experience, free from critical thought or evaluation, free from attachment. Maybe just taking 3 more deep breaths wherever you are. Keep breathing through it. And slowly using your next couple breaths to move your way out, maybe hugging in that Mula Bandha as you kind of lift yourself back up, especially if you were in that fold. Maybe bring your hands behind you to uncross your legs. Plant the feet and just windshield wiper the legs a little bit, wash it out. Maybe take a inverted table here or inclined plane if you like. Just letting the heart lift for a moment up toward the sky, stretching the front of the psoas. And when you're ready, moving on to the other side. So you're going to have the left shin down on the bottom half. The right ankle will cross on top. And you want to just make sure that the ankle isn't sickled, it's fully supported. Both ankles are flexed. Both sits bones are nice and level. Letting yourself sit nice and tall. Maybe if it serves you to weave those fingers through the toes. If not, listen to your body. You are your best teacher. Let your eyes close and just keep moving into this experience, paying attention. Maybe just taking 3 more deep breaths, settling in. And to move out of it, engaging that Mula Bandha, to give yourself a little hug, a little lift, bringing your hands behind you to unbind those legs. And again, just take a few moments, maybe windshield wiper, to spiral your way, maybe into a little deeper twist if you like, to move into an inclined plane. Take a few moments, maybe another minute or so, just to check in. If there's any areas that need movement, that need attention, allow yourself to move in a way that can service those areas. If you'd like to add some layers on at this time or get some props for your restorative practice, allowing yourself to do so. And if you're not already in a restful place on your back, perhaps take a few moments just to move yourself there into a supported place. And just as we begin, taking a few moments to connect with some nice deep breath, engaging with that full yogic breath, perhaps layering on that Ujjayi breath as you sense yourself filling and full, as you sense yourself emptying. As you sense yourself relaxing, supported. becoming more easeful. Taking a few more nice, full, deep breaths. Next time you sense yourself filling, let yourself fill all the way up with that full breath. And once you sense yourself full as you can be, maybe sip in just a bit more air and then hold on to that fullness. Perhaps bringing the back of the tongue up towards the roof of your mouth. And see if you can just watch, pay attention, listen. Trust that your body knows when you need to exhale. Whenever you sense that rush, that absolute need. And allowing that natural breath flow out. Allowing yourself to surrender to your natural rhythm, to relinquish any control, and to move into Shavasana. If there's any little micro movements you need to make to allow the body to become more supported, more at ease and restful, let that happen at any point. Remember that you are accessing guidance from the highest seat within the self. So allowing and permitting that this time be of devotion to listening to that guidance that is within you. Listening without force or efforting, without striving. But relinquish control and do so in trust and in faith, with love and humility. And continue to invite yourself to be guided, to listening to the teacher within. If it feels right for you, if you sense readiness to move out of this restful practice, then perhaps start to gently move or breathe in a way that helps support an awakening. But if you sense that you need more time with stillness, with rest, then allow yourself to remain as you are. For those of you that are ready to move into a more wakeful place, just continue to choose gentle movements or stretches that support that process. Moving yourself gently to an upright position. Keeping your gaze in wherever you are. Perhaps just as we began, bringing yourself into the space that you are practicing fully. Sense yourself in that space, held and supported, sensing how you align in that space, your position, your framework. And observing also your posture, the energy inside the self, the way in which you carry yourself inside that framework. And just holding space, accepting all that is present in this moment with love, and with gratitude, taking a moment to thank yourself for this practice, this devotion to the self. And remembering that we are equals. Everyone is an equal. Everyone deserves equality. We are a Sangha. Namaste.